I've got
I
a
have an
very
update
cute.
sorry.
Okay, go
I
for it.
have an update and I need to schedule a meeting with you.
Okay,
Just the
is it a
kids
good
are
update or is it or not a good update?
yes, it's a good update. I closed on the house.
Woo!
Uh-huh, finally.
Closed.
Congratulations.
Awesome. There we go. Awesome. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, it should be an email. We'll get something scheduled.
Yes, just my kids have taken over, so
Not a problem. Well, congratulations. Awesome. Another BI Diamond member. Getting stuff done. Love it. Awesome. All right. Sweet. Well, everyone, thanks for being here tonight. Another office hours. This is a fun one for me. This is the first office hours from my new house, which is great. So I'm moving in. I've got a living room full of stuff, but we are here, and so we are making things happen. Um, as usual, I'll start off with an announcement for Bright Investors. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We're actually doing our final push, which has been great. We've had so many back and forth since like pushing last week and this week, and there's so much stuff that's gone on. We decided to fix an extra 25 bugs and improvements that people brought up to us. And then we ended up meeting with a guy with 30 years of software engineering experience and just asked him to tear BrightInvestor apart just so we can keep making it better. And he did a good job. And he found things for us to keep working on. So we've got a whole list of things for him to work on, which is just a part of our process of ensuring high quality insurance. And got some things finally going out, which is great. So you guys will, I think, hold on, let me read the patch notes directly, so I'm not giving you guys wrong information. Um, yeah, the whole team is testing tonight and over midnight, and then if everything looks good, they will push it in the morning. Yep, okay. So that's where we finally have the thumbs up if everything goes well tonight. We have our team that tests overnight to make sure, so which is great. Another new version coming out. I'm currently staring down the barrel of, I want to say, about 75 to 80 improvements or tweaks or new features that we're rolling out in the next couple months um, that folks have been asking for. So you're going to see a lot of just stuff rolling through, which has been great. Let's see here, I won't get too much into it because I end up talking too much and sharing too much, and the team isn't happy about it when I do that. Anyways, a lot of new things coming out. You guys, like usual, you get your email about it, what's coming out, what's going on. Ann, did I see you wanted a tour of the new place? Yeah, we can absolutely we can do that. I'll take a few seconds and kind of showcase that a little bit. So in the new house, if you guys are interested in this, got the new house. I just painted this a full like wine red burgundy color because I got a pair of like red burgundy chairs for my fireplace room. So this is the fireplace with the bar, and then that's the bay window. So it's on about 2.5 acres here in Missouri. So it's the bay window here, the forest on the back. And then we've got kitchen and the open living room with wood timber beams everywhere. And there's a whole upstairs and board game room that I can get into later, but that's where I'm operating from tonight is my den. Yeah, I do too, Jason. The timber beams are great. So I've got the exposed wood and getting this painted. I got like a burgundy red and like forest green going in on the game room, which will be fun. Where's the home theater? Yeah, going in over there. In boxes right now, I have a full bar, wine fridge, humidor, media center, um, cables. I've got the 80-inch TV coming in. So it's just I've got everything's coming in. So we'll get it set up here as we move along. But lots of fun stuff coming on, and it's nice to be here. I moved to the town that of Brian Investor's co-founder Drew McCluskey. So I bought a house here so that he and I can just keep working on BI and have further collaboration and keep get things moving forward, keep moving things forward. So I moved to his hometown. But overall, not too shabby. So as a reminder, for office hours, love for anyone who is new or to office hours or wants to connect with people, highly recommend dropping your name, your contact information, or a little bit about who you are and what you're doing inside of the chat. So connect with other people who might be able to help you, or you might be able to help in return. Um, Also, after you guys doing that, if you have any deals or any questions about BrightInvestor or have any things that you want to go over tonight and leveraging, I can also go ahead and go through the features or the updates that are being released. If you guys want to get a quick list of that before the email comes out, I want to go ahead and just open the floor open for any questions while I'm here.
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
When you're looking at the comps, I still try to, find the best way to get the most out of the comps, in the program. And when would you hang on, let me look at it right now. When is it appropriate? I typically just turn off the feature when it says, includes results with estimated sales price. I
yeah.
usually just turn that off because I just want to see the accurate numbers. But when would it be good to actually include the estimated sales price? When would that be useful?
It's useful in NDA states. So NDA states are pretty good for when we're running our valuation model on the estimated
Oh,
sale
okay.
price. So that's yes, useful. It's also good when you have if you're in a situation where you want more data. So like I'm generally of the opinion that the more comps that I can possibly have, the larger my data set, the more accurate it's more likely to be. So I'd like to have as many things possible as on there. I like to see, where my outliers are on a per square foot basis, things of that nature. So I highly recommend using those things, um,
So
using those things
what
for it.
what what would those, could you remind me what those numbers would be based on then? Because in NDA states you just don't have the actual figures. So how are those numbers, how'd you come up with
Yeah,
those?
yeah. So that's being figured by a combination of an AVM model and the price per square foot in that region for that property. So we're taking the bed, the bath, the square footage, the neighborhood it's in, and what we know about the property to do its valuation. It's not. I don't want to say it's like his estimate because it's not, but it's like in that same kind of region of information of what that property should be going for based off based off what we're seeing in the area.
Okay. All right. Well, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Mike introducing himself. Awesome. Good to see you, Mike. Looking forward to having you all here. See here. Jason has got your message. Jason, go ahead and email me, and we'll go ahead and we get that taken care of for you for your renewal. Yeah, as a reminder, Jason, we have as a reminder, the price increase that we announced like a month ago now goes live in about a month. And I think for in July, and we made the offer for folks who were here. If you have an annual membership that's going to renew, that we were allowing you to keep that founders rate. So if you have a membership that's going to renew here in the next 30 days before the price increase is permanent for all the old users, you can go ahead and shoot me an email. We'll get that taken care of for you. Because I know who shows up to BrightInvestor office hours. I know who's here doing the work. So you guys get benefits. All right. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and go through a real quick of things that are coming along as well. So, for example, let me see here. A couple of things that we're working on. You now have the ability to remove the BrightInvestor powered by branding. We have the capacity we added in the distance filter for the rent comps, the min and max price options, square foot valuation for rent comps, the new skip tracing as well. We added in the ability for the building square foot filter, added in smart property identification. We then added in the mobile friendly reports. So now the reports are all much more user friendly, mobile friendly on both rent reports and deal analyzers. We're throwing in let's see here, the ability to hide or show unselected rent comps. You can basically hide comps that you think are you don't want to have on your report. Bug wise, we have over 46 small tweaks and bugs that we've been working on. There's all a lot of little nitty gritty stuff that we've been working on. So I'm not going to read up all 46 of those, but a lot of little things that have been found that we are pushing for. Those will all be outlined in the email as it comes out. Feature wise, we're still pretty heavy in the CRM integration and the widget and adding in some more comps and days on market for comps. You can see how long it takes things to get rented in a given area. We thought that'd be useful for people. And we still got a bunch of other minor features that will be coming out here relatively soon. We got a lot of stuff planned for the summer as we go into the summer here. So next 2-3 months. So again, we're just keep rocking and rolling with these new features. And again, you should go get that email coming out to you on what's coming out, what we're working on, and where we're headed. Let's see here. All right. Any questions that I can address on some of those things, if at all? I will mention that. What was I going to say? So I mentioned that. Oh darn! What was I going to say?
You're too young for that.
I am too young. You know what, Rich? You're right. I am too young for that. That tells you everything you need to know about my life, where I'm at. So where I'm at right now. Too much is going on. But so long and short, new version will come out. Get you guys an email for the update. If you have any questions, let me know. Of course, as always, if you have any feature requests, let me know. Oh, that's what I was going to say. With a CRM integration going live, allowing you to connect whatever CRM you're doing, we'll be either doing a webinar for that or we'll be doing an email with a pre-recorded video on how to set it up. Make sure you watch that video if you have any questions or attend that webinar if you have any questions on how you can go ahead and start connecting BrightInvestor to your personal CRM. Again, you don't have to do it. It's just an option that you guys get for free as being for BrightInvestor. It's a new feature. You guys get that. So if you have any, concerns or have any trouble getting that connected, just shoot us a message and we'll help you get that taken care of for you. Same thing when the widget goes out in about a month or so. When that goes live, if you have any questions about how that works or how that's operating or how we can get that, situated for you if you find use in that, we can go ahead and get that taken care of for you as well. So we're here to help you navigate those components. All right. Let me see here. I don't think I have anything other major for major releases coming out that won't be discussed in the email as we go forward. But yeah, anytime you have questions. Otherwise, I'm going to pick on Dolores and ask how her major trip traveling was. Was it Asia? Right? Was it Asia? Yeah, you like left for like ever and went to Southeast Asia. I'd ask you how that's going, or how that went.
It was great.
It was great. I'm glad. Where'd you go again?
I was a week in South Korea and then a week in Japan and Tokyo.
Wow. Okay. And as amazing as it sounds, right?
It was a lot of fun, and it's a really easy area. A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of English speaking, and so it makes the travel easy, even though there's all of the translation apps and everything else. But very friendly, very clean. Loved that. Very polite areas, so it was great.
That's fantastic. Glad you had a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Back to the grind. Back to work. Whatever happened with the deal in the Hawaii, the 3 lots? What happened there?
So we ran into some challenges with splitting it up, and it did have approved plans on it, but it required a special management approval with the state. So I kind of have that one on hold. It's still available, but that's kind of much more long-term project. So I'm working on a couple other projects. I have another fix and flip property that we're scheduled to close on Friday here. And so
Okay.
that's
Where's
kind
here?
of my next
Where's
baby
here?
that we're working on.
Where's here?
in Hawaii.
Oh, you live in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's the next one. And then I'm under contract for another buy and hold property in Kansas. And I'm looking at a couple of properties virtually tomorrow in Georgia. So hopefully I have a couple more offers on the table by next week. Cross my fingers.
Fantastic. That is fantastic.
Where in
For you.
Georgia?
Looking in Atlanta and also in Gainesville.
I was speaking to a guy last night from Augusta.
Oh, yes.
No.
I had met him somewhere. He was in my phone. I thought I was calling somebody else, but we had a nice little conversation. But
Oh,
you know, he
that's
does.
awesome.
You know, he's like as a contractor as well. So
Yeah,
if
Augusta's a
anybody's looking
beautiful
in that
area.
area, I can hook you up. You know,
This is a good sub market. I've seen a lot of people do business there and do well in Augusta. Georgia's had a lot of boom markets over the last couple of years as well. Georgia, Tennessee, Carolinas, um, definitely seen a lot of growth. Alabama and Mississippi sometimes get lost in those conversations, but there's some pretty good pockets in Alabama if you can find them and get some good opportunities there. Uh, let's see here. But yeah, those are some pretty good spots. You don't hear too much about Kentucky. Not a lot of people focus on Kentucky, and I personally have been, except for Louisville, Louisville, which I think is a great area to look into. I'm a big fan of Louisville. Um, but yeah, there's some good spots there. So looking forward to hearing about those projects, Dolores, and see how those things move forward and what you got going on, and what projects are going to make sense, and what you flip, what you keep, what you hold, and where it goes.
Yes, and I'll keep you updated next week on how they're doing.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's freaking lootly.
we have
Can
to
I
do a
can I
field
ask
trip
you
to Hawaii.
oh, can I ask you a quick question, Dolores?
Sure.
Since you're like investing in different states, how are you set up for your entity? Like, do you have different LLCs in each state, or just how are you set up?
Yeah, so I have a holdings company out of Wyoming, and then I have other LLCs under it. I do have a Georgia LLC specifically. I I've bought into a multifamily there, so I already have an LLC established there. So, but yes, it depends on what you're doing, right? If you're going to do a buy and hold, I do typically, have it within that state. Just you want to make sure that you've got the laws all set up and you're protected from that perspective. But if I'm doing fix and flips, I can do it out of my active LLC here. It doesn't matter where I do it. So wholesales and fix and flips, I do out of an active LLC. So, and then the
Okay.
rest, all the buy and holds, like I have one in Texas, that has its own LLC. So it just depends on the value of the property and, um, making sure that if you're going to keep it, that, yeah, I have LLC set up for
Yeah, something
each
stable.
area.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Thanks for sharing.
absolutely.
So your LLCs individually file tax returns.
It's all filed under one, right? So
So it
because
goes to
it
your
rolls up
Wyoming and then
in,
it floats through.
yeah, and I'm still all LLC, so I'm not a corporation.
Hmm.
Um, so I still it still all gets filed under one.
Yeah, it all pass through to her, and then she can file her different tax documents for the LLCs, take the losses and the income as she needs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely, good structure. I like that. There's been a lot of back and forth recently, not recently, maybe like about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, on the strength of Delaware's as a market to incorporate into off of when Elon Musk's pay package for Tesla got denied. It shook up some people's faith in Delaware as a corporate kind of safe haven for uh, laws and getting things done that the corporations want. So I've seen some people shift more towards Wyoming, but a lot of people still have their corporations incorporated in Delaware as well, and their LLCs for an LLC as well.
Yeah,
But
it just helps keep everything right under the veil of protection,
yeah,
right? they can find your address and all your personal information. And I mean, thankfully I have all my, my personal home and stuff is under a trust, but it still helps, protect your anonymity and, people can't just, if you have a renter, they can't just find your name and address online, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I'm getting my trust established right now for those things. And I'm moving through the process of cleaning some of that up,
yes.
transferring everything over to the right places. And it's a whole process, but
It is. But once you get it done, it's really easy and it's only big life changes that you really need to update it, but most of the
oh,
time it covers everything you need, so including the business side and, the personal side.
What made you go to Wyoming?
absolutely.
So Wyoming is one of the states where um if you if you look up an LLC under most other states, you will find the owner's information displayed. And in Wyoming, you have the veil of
Hmm.
protection where they can't access your personal information. So, what they will find is that I have an LLC with an address in Wyoming, but it won't have my name or any personal information there. And so, since my other LLCs report to it, they also are protected under that anonymity veil as well.
Okay, but we had to fill out that federal thing recently.
So are you talking
Yeah.
about
The beneficiary information
Yeah,
yeah,
that came out.
the BOI?
yeah.
Yeah,
And they
so
changed
that
it,
is
it's
that is
on off.
not something it's not something that actually gets displayed to anyone else. So once again, if you did a search for any of my properties, right, you wouldn't be able, it would just show the LLC and then the owner would be my Wyoming LLC. You wouldn't be able to find any of my personal information there.
Mhm.
Well, one of another benefit is sometimes it's good to you have the possibility to file as an LLC or as a corporation as well with the Wyoming LLC. I have the same
Yeah.
setup.
You can do
But
that actually with any
depending.
LLC. You can file it as you can do your taxes as an S corp, or sole proprietorship, or so you can kind of choose, and again, depending upon your accountant and or your CPA firm.
It makes the most sense for you. Yeah, there's a lot of fun ways to do it. And some people, do an entity per property, some do an entity per
Mm.
couple properties. It all depends on you and what makes the most sense for you overall. Um, you can get very complex, you can get very simple, right? It's all about individual risk tolerance and what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, and things like that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Alrighty here. Let's see. Got a bunch of emails. Rich and Ina and Chester and Mike. All right. So often I don't get a lot of questions about BrightInvestor in one of these office hours. It's not too bad. Uh, Pretty good. I'm feeling all right about this. I'll give you guys a couple announcements. There's cool things about BrightInvestor. Um, we are currently working with four of the largest property management companies in the country that I think collectively manage 500,000 doors, somewhere in that range, um, to begin using BrightInvestor as a part of their organizations. Where when these individual property management companies pop up nationwide, BrightInvestor will actually be part of their onboarding and their training, where people are now going to be trained on BrightInvestor when they go and they start doing property management, which has been really cool. We are working with a couple brokerages in Arizona, and there are two, maybe three real estate coaching programs that are now including BrightInvestor for every student that comes in. as a way to make sure that people are getting access to some of the best information and best platforms out there. So that's not really a user component of BrightInvestor, but just a little cool wins that we've seen here at the actual company side. Is that we're seeing wider and wider adoption, and I think honestly I can say that a lot of that is because of the people here who are in the room and continuing to give us BrightInvestor, give me personally the backing and the reasons to keep working on it and keep improving and to keep pouring everything in and adding more and doing more and offering more and becoming more so that we can continue to serve you guys in a way that helps you in your businesses and have a little fun along the way. So as BrightInvestor continues to grow and do cool things, we're not going anywhere. We're finding a way. We're going to make it work, and we continue to. Right now, we're seeing more and more people start to use us and get value out of us. So that's been really cool to see recently. So I want to say thank you guys as being some of the earlier supporters of what we have going on. People who believe in what we've been doing earlier before anyone else, and I hope it's not too long before BrightInvestor is a household name in terms of real estate. And you guys can say, yeah, well, I knew them before they were cool. And what we'll probably do is we'll probably, and I know myself well enough to know that I'm probably going to do this, is that we'll release a specific update to where anyone who is on BrightInvestor before a certain date will get like their BrightInvestor will say like BrightInvestor like Founders Edition or something like that. To where like it'll always be some type of badge or sticker saying like I was here before, it was cool. I know myself well enough to know I'm probably gonna want to do that. And just feel like yeah, I was here this time, like I was here in year 1 or year 2 or year 3 or something like that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that, and then I'm gonna give myself one like I was here at year 0 just because I want it. We'll do something like that. But I do want to say thank you guys for being here and helping to support us as we keep trucking along this pathway.
Beautiful. You guys are working hard, though. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, working hard and uh, every day. So it's been an absolute blessing to get to be here. It's actually pretty cool. This is a business side of things, but Q1 of 2025 was the first time BrightInvestor was profitable for an entire quarter.
Nice.
It's great. It's the first time, which is fantastic. We have been moving and shaking and working towards it. So we're just starting to move our way into the right direction, and which is really really nice for us and for me, and to be able to sleep a little bit more soundly at night. I'm like, this is great. So we're moving and shaking. Yeah. So it's been a cool place to be, and I've been happy to do it, happy to support everything, and so we're finally going to a place and making things work, and that was really cool to see. So I don't take anything for granted. I consider everything very much we'll take it and breathe in and breathe out and keep moving and shaking. But it's been an absolute pleasure getting to continue to pour into BI and see its growth over time. So I want to say thanks for everybody for that. All right.
Glad we can be here.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if there are no other specific questions or anything we wanted to discuss tonight, happy to give you guys all a little bit of time back in your evenings. And you guys, with this release, we should see you guys should see the email by midday tomorrow with all the new stuff and upgrades and tweaks and things that you've seen coming out. And we'll continue to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to reach out for any questions. I know Jason and I got your email about founders rates, so we'll make sure we get you taken care of there. And if you have any questions, any notes, any things anyone want to look at, please just let me know. I know that Polina, you owe me an update, so we can go talk about your property that just closed. It's been a big win. I know Mike, you and I have a conversation coming up on your next property and our next session as well. So looking forward to that. And we'll talk soon.
I have a question,
Oh, yeah, Ann, go for it.
if you don't mind. Because I've been
Yeah.
when I use the comp stuff a lot because I'm focusing on flips right now, so that's what I keep going back to, all the time.
Yeah.
I kind of try to get the best use out of it. But I noticed a couple times when the price, and I just looked one up so that I could share it with you, and you can let me know. Maybe you can look at it. with
Huh?
your team, but I noticed that the price listed, it was recently sold, and the price listed on Bright Investors was different from the price listed on, I think you linked to Zillow, right? So
Okay.
I was like, well, how could that happen? So then that would skew the average or whatever, the price per square foot. Do you want
Yeah,
an
so
example or?
no, that makes sense to me. So typically, because if we get information from the way we get access to some of these listings sometimes is we are Zillow pulls from certain resources and we pull from others. So we don't have direct MLS. Zillow is basically a brokerage that is paying for MLS subscription in some ways. And so what's happening is that we're going to public records, we're going to county records, we're going to other reporting sources that are bringing all the information in, and sometimes that can cause a discrepancy. So what we do in that situation is that's why in the sales comp table, if you hover over bed, bath, square footage, or list price, it'll say double click to edit. So if you think that, hey, you know what, I want to see what happens if I change this information, you can overwrite anything in the comp table to match whatever source you want. So if you want to say, you know what, I want to use this for my ground truth over this, I highly recommend double tap that sale price, change it, and then what it's going to see is it's going to automatically recalculate the price per square foot valuation, and it'll help adjust your sale comp too. So that's why that overwrite functionality is in there for those specific instances, so that we can make sure that the comp set that you create is the most accurate as possible.
So in that case, I should really check every comp. I should check on Zillow. Would Zillow be accurate then, or which one would be more accurate? Because which one do I know I should trust then to get my best?
So it's hard because Realtor.com, Trulia.com, Zillow, MLSs, that's kind of the difficulty around the valuation and what properties you're actually selling for, depending on what people are reporting, what they're putting in. So generally speaking, what we have here is like you're in Columbus, Ohio, right?
Can we
Yeah.
can we look at the property maybe and use
Yeah. Why don't you show me
sample land?
Yeah,
why don't you give me the address?
I can give you an address right now that I was.
Yep, let's do it.
Yep. Bring up 2875 Lowell
Okay.
Drive in Columbus, Ohio.
Aloha Drive.
Lowell Drive, Lowell Drive, 2875.
Okay. Let me go ahead and check it out and pull up and do this right here. Okay. Let's see here. Pop this open. So 2875. It's an absentee owner, free and clear. Okay, it's purchase. Michael. Okay. Pull this up here. 21825 square feet. Okay. Interesting one. Check this out as well. So we see that the property was sold in 2016, right? For $48,000. And then we see that the property was then transferred from Gary to Michael, which was probably his son or brother or something. I'll see that matches what happened on Zillow has the same information as what we do. So we confirm that transaction.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come over here to my comps. Now we are making some part of our tweaks and our bugs are fixing the sales comp section. I can specifically tell you. So I would ask you to check this out again tomorrow once we're out. I'm going to filter this through.
And then I switched off the estimated sales price. I just go through that. Yeah. Okay. So we're in the same spot.
Yeah. So I'm going to try this one. So this one was a 3-bed, 2-bath, sold for $311,500.
I think this one was fine.
Sold $311,500, which is great. Check out this one as well. So we have
what are you just clicking on it to get that information?
I click on the address.
Okay.
And this is we like to include that in. So that was a 3-1 for 84.5, 3 for 84.5. So they call it 3. It's a 1.5 bath. We call it a 1. They call it a 2. It's a toss up. You can do what you want. 84.5. Right here you got a 2-1.
I think
for
that's
204. A 2-1 for 204.
The next one that doesn't match.
That's a pretty good flip. So this is a 2-1 for 204,000. And good point though on this one though. They are including more square footage. See here.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't quite match.
Yeah, and so that's where like spots like Ohio, sometimes people will include like additional square footage, like garages or basements or attics in the square footage to improve,
Or
and
I've
that's just
seen,
from an.
yeah, or I've
Yep,
seen also if it's a duplex, sometimes they only put
yep,
one level and not the
exactly.
other one. Yeah.
And that's
But
just agents doing their thing. So that's where I'd say, okay, they're calling it 1100. I'm calling it 844. So that's where I double click right here and I say, great, 1110. And
Okay.
then when I
So
do
you would
that, look at,
override it. Okay.
yep, you see that changes my valuation to a more appropriate 182 per square foot.
Okay. Now go to
yeah,
the
And
next one. I think it's Eureka that I had an issue
okay,
with here.
well, can't you
perfect. Let's
go
take a
to
look. See.
Google Earth and measure from roof, measure the roof?
You can. That will help. That won't help when
Square
it comes to
footage?
garage or basements. If they're including a finished
Right.
basement or not. So Eureka, I got a 3-1 for 125. Got a
Yeah,
3.
but then
Oh,
when
yeah,
you
that's
look at
interesting. Yeah, that one's off.
that one is
Two
like
nights.
way off.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why is that one? That's a specific. It's an interesting specific one. Let's see. 3-1, that was 32.
And
Okay,
I've
well,
The
seen
that's
square
that
foot,
occasionally. You know, most of them they match, but occasionally I'll see one like that that's
a
just
weird
totally
one.
off.
Yeah. So the square footage is right here. That is square footage is right. The lot square foot is right. The build year is right. Everything here. We were at 125. This was at one.
Oh
Yeah, let's
wait,
take
can
a
you
look.
look?
See.
What is the previous sales price? Maybe it didn't update. Hang on, go back.
That's
Well,
possible.
no, because
Yeah.
that's no 150.
Yeah. We can check it out.
I don't know. No,
A
because it
lot of
looks.
a lot of activity here. Yeah. So a lot of information is going on here. So yeah, that one. Oh,
But
wonder. Yeah. So we got all that information. So that might, yeah. So that would be something. I'll look at that address and see what we have and for it. 292 Eureka. That could just be a this delta from where the information that we got from our source was reported from a different source as this resource. So I'd come here and I'd say, great, no problem.
Lucky
Change
Eureka.
it to 150. Updates there. We're good to go. So we're still around that 140 component. And if I turn on my yeah, let's see, I have all these comps here. So
yeah,
yeah,
and
that's
then
where I
go to. Okay, no, Hadley was correct. It was 290. That one was correct. Also, I think that was the one, the Eureka,
yeah,
that was quite
just
off. So wait, so you changed it to what then? You changed it to
I just adjusted the 125 to 150. That was it.
okay.
Because everything else on that one was correct.
And then when you do that, that updates the whole line, right?
That updates the whole line. Correct.
Okay. And then that updates the average and everything on the other boxes, right?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
And typically you would pick, to get the best comp, you would you'd choose like the beds exact and then the bath exact, typically, kind of like to get
Yes.
the
So yeah. So what I do is I do exact beds, exact bath. I look for properties that are ideal as close as possible. So my preference is going to be for properties that are under a mile away and not
okay.
across any major thoroughfares. So like for
Mhm.
example, these 4 properties are 5 properties. I like them, but they're also across this Highway 72.
Yeah. So that could be a
So I
totally
would
different neighborhood. Yeah.
Yep.
it could be. So that's when I'd go and I'd check my market research and say, hey, look, are the schools different in this area or are the franchises at? I would drop my little orange pegman and I'd walk around these neighborhoods and then I'd walk around this neighborhood. But like this comp right here, I'm interested in. Is that this one? Yeah, it's this one right here. So this comp, 3216, exact match on bed, exact math on bath. It's a lot older than my property, but it's a little bit bigger. And that one sold for 175 a foot. So that's a
Yeah,
really
they
good
did a
comp.
nice, that one's really nice on the outside. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good comp. It sold for 175 a foot. And I'm going to notice that using all of my comps, I'm averaging about 170 a foot. And so I'm feeling pretty good about this. As a potentially 175 a foot, 170, 175 a foot overall recomp. So on this asset, I'm going to look at this guy and say, okay, great. I know that this person bought the property in cash and has high equity. So I mean, he bought it for 48,000. So he owes nothing on it. So if I was going to potentially flip this, right, I would come over and say, great, I think it's going to be worth 170 a foot when I'm done, or we'll call it 141 when I'm done. Okay, great, 140, 141. I need to buy it for,
It didn't change.
that's right, 141's right here. My ARB is right there.
Okay.
So I'm going to say I'm going to put down 10% for maybe this loan. And okay, I'm going to spend about 35,000 on average. And I want to go ahead and make how much of it? See, my interest rate's going to be approximately 12%. I don't know, that kind of loan. I want to make more than $12,000. I might offer this guy 60K for a $35,000 rehab. You know that you're for 825 foot. You're talking, what is that? I think $40 a foot. That's a pretty solid rehab for a flip like this.
So you want to end up somewhere around 167,000 because that's the estimated value.
So what I'm doing is remember this, we talked the AVM, this estimated value takes all things, all comps, the property, the location, everything, and runs this independent valuation model of what this property could be worth today. Then we have our sale comp model, which is what we just went through, which is based off our sales comp. Our sales comp is giving us price per square foot of around 170 a foot. So I know I'm pretty confident my property is worth between 141 and 167. I typically lean on this a little bit heavier.
When it's all fixed up.
Yeah, when it's all fixed up. And the reason I know that is because I'm taking this comp that we just looked at together, 3216. I'm looking at the photos, I'm looking at the work that was done. I'm like, this property sold for 175 a foot in this neighborhood for a similar type property, fully renovated. So that's what I'm coming in here to say. I think my property's gonna be worth about 170, 175 a foot. When I'm done, I put the ARV in. What do I need to purchase it to get what kind of profit? And so I think a $30,000 profit on a flip like this, pretty solid. I'd be willing to offer this guy 60K probably for a project like this. So I can get it done in 3 or 4 months. Not too shabby.
No,
I'd do that deal.
What did
Well,
he pay for it?
that's really helpful because it's actually a wholesale thing, and they're asking like way too much. They're almost asking the ARV value.
Yeah.
What are they asking for it?
Let me check here.
Yeah, it's probably four wholesalers in.
Yeah, you've probably got a daisy chain a mile long. Something like that.
They were asking
What did he originally pay for it, Donato?
This guy bought it for 48K almost 10 years ago.
Right. But we don't know if this is in good shape or not, right?
Yeah, we don't know if it's in good shape or not. We don't know the status.
No, you know what? I don't remember where I got it from. I
Now,
can't find it now.
What I do,
So I'm
here's what I'm
sorry.
thinking. Oh, you're fine. So here's what I know, right? I know the population growth is good, right? I like that. I know the income growth is good. I like that. I also know that new listings are up 60%. So I'm gonna have a hard time. Like there's a lot of new supply hitting the market. As a person who's gonna be flipping this, I'm looking at that saying, ugh, okay, listings are up 60%. I might not be able to get top dollar right now. At the same time, but my days on market are going down too. So properties are selling faster right now, which is great. So I'm able to move properties faster and more listings are coming up. At that same time, more recently, last couple months, you've seen price per square foot start dropping on this area, while home prices that took a dive as well. So I like the days on market are going down into our summer months, but I don't like the fact that our price per square foot took a dive since November, and I don't like the new listings are going up that quickly. That gives me a little bit of hesitation on my ability to sell this property for top dollar. So in my deal analyzer, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative on my rent comps or my sale comps. Say, you know what, I'm going to be closer to 170 a foot. I'm going to go ahead and just do a really nice 140 estimate based off the other comp that I saw just sell really recently. And I'm going to say I don't want to make less than 30,000 on this. I'm really not willing to offer more than 60K to make this work. So in this situation, right, for this kind of property, I don't know how nice it is. This guy doesn't owe anything on it, so he's just going to walk away with a $60,000 check, right? That might work for him, but depending on how much money you want to make, you could potentially offer up to like maybe 70K. But for me, I'd want to make a little bit more than that. I want to have a little more margin. And so I'd probably be looking at a $60,000 purchase price to make this worth it for me,
Okay.
based on everything I'm saying.
Okay. Well, this is super helpful to see the thought process on all that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I would like to do the market research right there. It's like, you know what? I like to basically the market. If I went to the market research side and I saw, hey, look, the price per square foot's going up really hot right now, and days on market's going down, and the new listings are low, awesome. But our new listings went from 174 to 340 in 1 month.
Mhm.
Everyone's listing right now, right? It's going to be harder for me to stick out and get the price that I want.
Okay.
So I need to be more conservative in the fact that, hey, look, I'm putting an offer out. I'm putting a property up when everybody else is. So I'm not with all that supply, my prices are going to go down a bit.
And now
So
it's
it could be,
buy and hold.
yeah. And so, like for example, I might come here and say, well, what happens if we, renovate it? So what happens if you bought this thing for 60,000, right? And then let's say that let's say you fixed it up, it was worth 140, right, when you were done, and let's say you did a cash out refinance for 25% at today's interest rates, which are getting closer and closer to 7%, which is insane. The rent on this is going to be about $1,100-$1,200. So I'm going to put that in. Say you pop in a 10% management fee and you lower your repairs and vacancy and CapEx because you just renovated the building. You pop on a quick landlord insurance quote of how much? That much a month. Right here. And this property, all considered, you'd lose about $100 a month. Unless you cashed out at like 40%. If you did a 60% LTV cash out, you would break even. At which
What
point,
was what was your assumption initially? Did you put 70% LTV?
Yep. Yeah, I did this is a down payment. So I did originally 25% down payment, which was 75% LTV, and now I'm
Okay.
at 60% LTV.
Okay.
So
more money down. Yeah.
yeah, well, in this case, it would be a refinance, right? Like we buy the
Yeah.
property, we fix it, we refinance out, but we leave more money in. You'd
Yeah.
have to leave, 40% in to make this deal work, at least break even, which for me doesn't make sense. Like I'd rather
No,
just see you flip
it's
it, just make
so it would
30
work.
grand.
It would totally work as a flip, just not as a rental, like a bird
In
type
my
thing.
opinion, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, $16 a month in cash flow or $32,000 now. I mean, I'm gonna pick the $32,000 now.
Okay. All right, cool. This is super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Yeah, that was good. All right, guys. Well, if there's anything else, go ahead and let me know. But otherwise, we'll get the email out tomorrow. And thank you all for being here. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
You
night.
guys, sir.
Thanks.